Okay, let's try this one more time. Let's see. Okay, I sent you the invitation, Tala.
Okay, I think it worked. It worked.
Yay! Wait,
Assalamualaikum.
are we matching?
Oh, I got it on yellow.
Oh, okay. This is
But
like
you did,
neon green.
yeah. I was like, let me be colorful today. Maybe if on
Oh
black
my
is regular.
God. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank
Like,
you. I'm
I'm
honored to
just
be
like,
here. I haven't been
I've
on
been counting
ID
down.
live in a minute. It's been a
I
while.
know it's been a minute. I'm just like super like I've been like thinking about like our previous conversations and I'm
Hmm.
like I'm just so excited to like really hop in and before we start I kind of wanted to give an intro, to you. I'm really like super honored that you decided to take the time to
Oh,
speak
so
today. And like mashallah, like your background is pretty awesome. So I just want to share with everyone who's
appreciate
joining
that.
a little bit about you. So,
Hmm.
you know, Tala is a licensed psychotherapist. He's also a professor and the founder of Let's Chop It Up, which I can't wait to talk about. It's a men's mental health practice rooted in a barbershop inspired model, which is so
Hmm.
cool because I just can't wait to get into it. And his clinical work centers around Black men and boys, drawing on his early experience as a mentor with Black male youth ages 5 to 19. He holds a BA in psychology and religious studies and an MA in counseling from both Towson University and is currently pursuing a master's in Islamic chaplaincy at Hartford International University for Religion and Peace.
Hmm.
So and what I definitely love about what you're doing is that you're working across, different religious communities as well. You've told me
Hmm.
about different projects that you've worked on. And above all of that, you are creating spaces where people feel safe enough to grow. And that's why I
Hmm.
decided, I'm like, this is the kind of person I want to bring on here because the whole point of this podcast is called Sun and Sky. And the reason why I call it Sun and Sky is like the inspiration is that in this new world we're living in, and it is in fact a new world, like we're navigating really hard situations and experiences through social media, through news, through world events. And, we use our heart and our mind as like the vehicles to help us navigate. And so the sun and the sky are equally important. What's a sky without a sun to light it up?
Yeah.
And what's, a sun without a sky for it to sit in? Like, it's so important that we understand that healers come in different forms. And I feel that like with therapists, they work on the mind, and with artists, they work on the heart. But sometimes it's the other
Yeah.
way around, but they're both important. So I just like, I can't wait to dive in with you about Chop It Up. So I
Hmm.
want to know really a little bit about like what inspired you to start Chop It Up, and like how did it come about? Was it just, like an idea, or was it something you had thought about for a long time, or was it just like an aha moment? But I would love to hear,
Yeah, no, for
yeah.
sure. Appreciate you for that introduction and the things you said, especially with the sun and sky, right? Um, and how the daylight, there's so much during the
Hmm.
day there, it shows how much we can get done, right? And the day is for activities, productivity, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Hmm.
and I'm even thinking about the sun and sky, whether it's nighttime sky, right? How Allah created everything in pairs. So the two
Yes.
go hand in hand. And when you said the heart and the cognitive piece for therapists, the thinking piece, I'm getting into this thing called somatic work, where we're really
Mm.
incorporating the body into our work.
Mm.
And we know the heart is the seat of the intellect. So
Yes.
all those things are intertwined. Um,
Wow.
but that's what came to mind as you were sharing.
I love
So
that.
about Let's Chop It Up. Really, this came to mind when I was in grad school. I was
Hmm.
pursuing my master's in counseling. I remember one day I was in class and I was reading something about the significance of barbershops for Black men and boys.
Mm.
And I was like, yo, I want to have a barbershop where I can provide therapeutic services.
Mm.
So it was like a dream. It was a dream.
Wow.
And I just pinned it. And then as time started going on, I got licensed. And then my full time job's at a outpatient clinic, mental health
Mm-hmm.
agency. So I worked there most of the time. And
Mm.
then the Let's Chop It Up is on the side. So I started Let's Chop It Up last year. Last year, I started my LLC. And then
Mm-hmm.
later that year, probably in the fall, is when I started seeing clients. But it- it's virtual for the most part. And then
Mm-hmm.
toward the end of the year, I was like, let me bring this into fruition. I saw someone that I know post the barbershop I'm currently in. And I was like, yo, that's
Mm.
down the street from my crib. So I
Oh
hit up the
wow.
person and we got on a call and I shared with him, yo, this is my vision. I would love to rent out your space because I don't physically have a barbershop. I don't own a barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
And he shared
Mm-hmm.
this is something he's always wanted to do. Like he always
Oh.
wanted to provide a space where men can just come and express themselves, have a safe
Mm.
haven, camaraderie, all that. And
I
the
love that.
name Let's Chop It Up is a play on words when you come to the barbershop or
Mm-hmm.
cutting edge. But let's chop it up. I mean, let's speak, let's talk, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's where I got the name from. And fast forward, it's January, I started preparing a group, and we had a list of themes. We talked about safety and vulnerability. We talked about managing emotions. We talked about meaning. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
trauma, grief, all these things. And then
Wow.
after that, we had it was a pilot. So I wanted to do it for 6 weeks. I wanted to see if there was a need, if people would keep up with it. So
Mm-hmm.
after 6 weeks, people were like, "Yo, can we continue this?" So now
Oh.
what we do is we meet every Wednesdays at 7:30 in the barbershop. After
Wow.
our as we're ending our conversation, I'll show you around the barbershop.
Yeah.
Um, because one of the barbers is here and still cutting hair. But yeah,
Nice.
shout out to Nick Oaken Iyer Barbershop. He is the founder of this barbershop. He allows me to have the space to facilitate group. Like,
That's amazing. No, I think the sound cut out.
can you say me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, somebody was calling. I should put
Okay.
it on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, no, shout out to Nick.
Mm-hmm.
He owns this barbershop, Oak and Iron, and it's
Wow.
located here in Always Mills, Maryland. It's a
That's
beautiful barbershop. And
crazy.
toward the end of the conversation, like I said, I hope to give you all a tour of his barbershop. It's a
Oh
beautiful
my
barbershop,
God.
mashallah.
I love
So,
I saw pictures and
mhm,
it's really beautiful to see like, here's your idea and then here's also someone who you didn't know before who also matched like that frequency of like intention and also like being a source of like community and healing. And then
yeah,
boom, like it's just I love when that happens because like first of all, like alhamdulillah, like thank God you didn't give up on your dream and like
mhm,
you like pinned it. And I know that like for anyone who taps into their creativity, sometimes like they may not see something through because maybe
mhm,
like they'll like, get 100 reasons why it wouldn't work. But it takes a lot for, people to see some a creative project through, especially if it hasn't been, done before. And I really like when I came across it, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because I know for me personally, as a woman, I've had a man stylist who's always
mhm,
kind of styled my hair since I was 18.
yeah,
And, I had like a really hard time with my hair in the
yeah,
texture, and he just always knew what to do. But also, he
mm,
also knew how to make me feel comfortable.
right,
And
yeah,
I just loved him because just outside of who he was, like his essence was just so beautiful, but also like I could just kind of get a different perspective on life because I didn't see him every day. I would see him like once every time I would get my
yeah,
hair done. So I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about that in regards to like, I mean, I know this is kind of random, but it kind of has to do with the topic. But like, what has your experience been culturally? Going to the barber shop, like, because I know some men go like weekly or
mhm,
or whatever cadence. But like, what was that experience prior to you making this like a whole thing? Like, what was your
Yeah,
experience at the barbershop?
for sure, for sure. And I was literally gonna touch on that as you mentioned your
Mm-hmm.
stylist. Yeah, the barbershop. Um, I remember my mom would take me. My mom would take me to the barbershop. It's so fun. She would take me to the barbershop and then she would leave me. I'm like, yo, you gotta stop leaving because when it's done, you gotta pay the person. But as as I've gotten older,
Mm-hmm.
it the by cadence now, like I try to go every 2 weeks. But my barber, so the barber, honestly, for me, it represents, not represents, but it's similar to the relationship an individual has with their therapist. If not, that
Mm-hmm.
alliance might be stronger. I might
Mm-hmm.
tell my barber things that I probably won't even tell my therapist. Like,
Wow.
and
Mm-hmm.
um, think of just the significance of our hair.
Yeah.
I took this training. It's psychotherapy. I got a certification in psychotherapy. Shout out to Dr. Afia Billy Shock is one of my mentors. She's a psychologist. And what she does is she has a training where she's teaching people how to navigate or so, hair care professionals how to navigate mental health issues through hair.
Wow.
Because our hair, there's energy in our hair. Our hair is tied to our identity. I've had clients,
Mm-hmm.
they won't come up on they'll turn their screen off, right? Because their hair might not look right, or they
Mm.
might not have a fresh cut. So our hair is attached to our self-esteem, etc.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I get out the barber shop, I'm always like, damn, I'm a new man, right? So, but my
Love
barber,
it.
I've been seeing my barber for, I want to say since 2021.
Wow.
So, and
Mm-hmm.
before that, one of my best friends was my barber. S-
Mm.
And when I think about trust, especially as a therapist, that's the most important, the relationship, right? The
Mm-hmm.
relationship is the most important thing. And that relationship is rooted in trust. So for someone to
It
sit in your
really is.
chair and to cut your hair, right, that requires a lot of trust
Yeah.
and vulnerability.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
that's how I view the relationship between a barber and their
Mm.
clients, very similar to a therapist and their clients.
Yeah. I really love that you said that because I think you just like it's almost like, when you get in your car and you just drive on the road, or when you
Mm,
like get on a plane and like go somewhere, or it's just like you just like automatically trust. And it's the same because like you are pretty vulnerable because your head is like very
mm,
special, and someone is like touching it and they're like they have to reset every time they're touching someone else's head.
mm,
And also they kind of have to put their life to the side so that it doesn't affect the customer's experience. And so like it's just really beautiful to see how you're combining, the practice and then also the
mm,
practice of, hair therapy.
yeah.
It's really, really beautiful to see. I think that um I kind of want to touch on another topic. I would love to hear your perspective. All over social media, we're kind of like in this day and age where unfortunately, I've seen a lot of like women versus men, men versus women in regarding like just mental health and like, different circles. And I'm praying and I feel like we're starting to head away from that because it just doesn't work. And instead of it being like versus each other, it's like together and understanding one another and having more conversations like this one where we can just kind of like be open and share about like what is happening or what is working. And to talk about chop it up, it's like it's good to see. I've heard from different friends of mine, men friends, who have said that usually like their relationship is like shoulder to shoulder, and I didn't know
Mm,
what that meant. And he said it's kind of like when we see each other, we're watching a game, or when we're seeing each other, we're
mm,
playing a game. Or
mm,
if we are, if it's in sports, there can't really be like a full on conversation because you're more
yeah.
involved in the sport. And so, like, I just would like to hear, like, what your experience is in what you've seen of how people have grown through, different experiences you've seen that can shed light on the positive experiences with men in therapy or men in groups. Because I
Yeah,
just feel like instead of us focusing on what's not working, because that's like always a thing, like in social media, I would like to like have this, opportunity and chance to hear about your experiences, either, what you have personally or what you've witnessed in the world. Because we just need more positive than the negative
yeah, for sure.
content out
No,
there.
for sure. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, therapy wasn't really designed for men. When I
Mm.
there Black therapists make about 4% of the field.
Wow.
Black male therapists make up about 1 to 2%.
Really?
Yeah. So if you think about
Wow.
entering a space
Wow.
that is predominantly female dominated,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, in addition to white females,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, when you go places where you don't see yourself, you're less likely to enter those spaces.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Uh, so and then you have patriarchy, right? People talk
Mm-hmm.
about patriarchy, how it
Mm-hmm.
benefits men, but we don't look on the other side of that, how it also impacts men,
Yes.
and who patriarchy was designed for, right? White men.
Yeah.
So, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying this to negate the privilege I have as a man. I have a lot of privilege as a
Mm-hmm.
man that a black woman might not have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when Bell Hooks talked about this in The Will to Change, he shared how there's a chapter on boyhood,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's chapter 4 in that book. And she talks about how boys have been taught that they've been taught about this idea of what masculinity should be from a young
Mm-hmm.
age.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you grow up hearing, yeah, don't cry like a girl. Or so they've been socialized to believe this is how a man operates and this is how a woman operates.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, in my experience, when I work with men, and I'm guilty of this too, even still to this day, I won't tell you how I feel. I'll tell you what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there's certain emotions that I might use as opposed to others.
Yeah.
Certain emotions and feelings. Uh, a lot of times for men, anger is safe because
Mm.
anger is what you've been socialized to project into the world, display.
Yeah.
So I remember a powerful session. There was a client who I had in his late 60s as a man. And I remember when I first saw that he was put on my steps, I was like, yo, what's he seeing somebody? I'm 31. I'm like, what's he?
Mm-hmm.
I'm half his age. So what can I
Mm-hmm.
offer him? What's he looking for? And when
Mm.
the more we worked together, he shared about, I was angry for a long time. But underneath
Mm-hmm.
what I show men is this anger iceberg. Because anger, when you think about an iceberg, you see what's at the tip. You don't see what's
Yeah.
beneath the surface. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times some individuals say anger is a secondary emotion. So
Mm.
what's really masking the anger? Or what is the anger really masking?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
for men, anger is something that it's safe, we're gonna display that more. But underneath that, the
Mm.
Hooks talks about underneath anger, there's a lot of fear and pain. So I was working with this client, he said, I showed that I was angry a lot of times because I was really scared.
Wow.
And if I showed that I was vulnerable, then I might be harmed. So what I'm learning is
SubhanAllah.
a lot of the patriarchal ideas that have men have been socialized to believe. You see that it manifests in their adulthood. And we don't talk about men developmentally. We just straight go to manhood. We don't talk about what happens during boyhood,
Mm-hmm.
what they've learned during boyhood, what
Mm-hmm.
they've seen during boyhood. I was listening to a video a couple days ago,
Mm.
and the dude that was talking in the video, he said a boy had walked into the barbershop and he told the barbers he got 8 girls. He got 8 girlfriends. It's like, yo, where you learning this from? Some man probably told him like you gotta have multiple women to be a man, right?
And it's like
So
that fact that he's like associating that with like now his value. It's almost
mhm,
like where does he exist in that, and like, like where is that individual? Where does he exist in like associating with like value with relationships? I think men and women, like struggle with that in regards to like, oh, if I have someone, then I am of value. And
exactly.
it's I
A
hearing
lot of
it from
people
a
find
man's
their value in
perspective,
other
it's like,
people.
yeah,
Yeah. They find their
it's
value in other people. And for a
mhm.
man, it's not only do they find their value in other people, but what could they do for other people?
Wow.
Someone,
Like this is what I wanted to happen, because I just feel like I be having these conversations, like with you
mm,
and like very few other people, and I just feel like we don't get to have access to like too much of the other side, like you said, kind of like the patriarchy and like the other side,
mm,
especially as a black man, like it's gonna be like a totally different perspective and experience. And um, I really appreciate you sharing that. I think that's actually helped me understand a lot of things that I've had questions about for a very long time, about different experiences that I've had with, people who I have close, or people who I met randomly. And I'm like, just looking at solely the emotion and not
mm,
necessarily looking at what is like beneath all of that.
yeah.
And then also that it's like masking something else,
Mm,
not that, oh, I'm actually angry. No, it's like I'm distracting you from
mm.
a part
What
of
I
me
might
that,
actually
yeah,
feel. Yeah.
that is that is like, wow.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
all of our emotions serve a function.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our emotions, like for example, anger is displayed when there's this lack of justice. A boundary
Mm-hmm.
might be violated.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so if you think about when anger is demonstrated or when it's shown by other men, no one really inquires what might have happened to them that they're showing anger that way. Right? There might
Mm.
have been a buildup leading to anger. I know I have this one client. He told me that he doesn't like to put out fires,
Mm.
and when he was saying this in regard to when he's taking care of his family, he has to be the one to be the listener, the fixer, and everything. Because if he shows how he feels, then his family members might feel responsible for how he feels. And then because they can't help him, they might feel disappointed, helpless, etc. So he just bottles it all up. But what happens is he bottles it all up to a point that he can't handle it, and he
Mm.
might do something maladaptive. We call them maladaptive, inappropriate, to cope with his feelings. But what happens is another thing that happens is he ends up exploding. So I asked him, I was like, well, what's going to happen when you burst into flames? Because you're too busy putting out other fires. And that's what's happened in the past. Now everybody's
Yeah.
looking at you as the bad guy.
Yeah, there was actually a movie I just watched recently. It's called Waves. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Mm, mm,
And it was really just showing how a pent up emotion like led to one person's decision and how it affected everyone around them. And not necessarily what I loved about the movie is that it showed that it wasn't the person that you could be mad at. It was like the fact that there were so many touch points where
yeah,
they couldn't either release it, or there wasn't like the space for it to be shared. And it's almost kind of like a pattern of expectations blocked the person from knowing how to even express. They didn't even
yeah,
have an environment
mm,
for. And the main character was a young man, a young black man.
mm,
And
yeah,
I think that like what I really enjoyed about the movie is that they didn't show him to be as like, the bad person, but it was like, imagine if, there was like the space, the understanding, the communication, and so I'm really just coming to like understand that, more about negative emotions. But I was wanting to know a little bit more too about, um, kind of back to let's chop it up. So like
Mhm.
with the, people wanting to do it more, like where do you see that going in the sense of like, is that something that you're going to expand beyond just the current place that you're at? Or is it going to be in
Yeah.
other places or?
I don't know. That's a good question. My sister and I were talking about that. Really, I'm wherever law takes it, for real. Right
Mm,
now, right, we have a good community,
that's
and
really
that
good.
was really the goal.
Okay.
I'm. It's I heard not too long ago, we need to create spaces for men to run to, and there's not a lot of spaces for that. So that's really
Mm,
what the Let's Chop It Up is about,
I
for
love that.
men to come together in community, fellowship, and be in camaraderie, and really talk about what does manhood look like for us, and how where that came from, and what we want manhood to look like for us individually moving forward. But knowing that you're not alone in that journey is helpful. It's been
Mm-hmm.
helpful for
Mm-hmm.
me. And I don't really show up as a therapist. I thought that was my intention at first,
Yeah.
but really not. It After the fourth week, so when I came to me, I was saying, you shared a lot of information, because I was trying to do psychoeducation, teach people
Mm-hmm.
about certain
Mm-hmm.
things. And someone came up to me and was like, the information you shared was good. It was just a lot to process.
Mm.
And I don't think we had a lot of time to really talk about. After that, I pivoted. And it's really
Wait, sorry, Tala, I can't hear you. I'm not sure why. I think
about
maybe.
what's on your heart.
Oh, okay,
Hmm?
now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
And you didn't hear me that whole time?
The last like 10 seconds.
And what's the last thing you heard?
Like the you were describing that someone was like, there's too much information to process, and then they didn't have time or space to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they were saying how they didn't have a lot of time and space
Mm-hmm.
to express what they thought. And after that, pivoted.
You pivoted,
Now
yes.
we begin sessions, not even sessions, but we begin group. I might ask, how are you feeling today? We just go around, and I have a feelings wheel. So we all
Mm-hmm.
just pick a feeling, how we felt this week. And then other people might resonate with that feeling. And then after that, what's on your heart?
Mm.
And that'll lead to a conversation. We always go over time.
Wow.
And the history of the barbershop was a space. Not only was it the communal space, but it was a space for social change. People got together, they started
Mm-hmm.
coming up with ideas. It was huge during the civil rights movement. So the barbershop's been a haven forever. And that's why I really wanted to do work here. If you're not coming to the therapy office, I'm gonna come to you.
Mm.
All right? When I go to a barbershop, before my barber he's in the Cilantro Suites now. He has a suite. Before I went to his new place, I would he was in the shop. You go in there, people would be in there laughing, chopping it up, talking about everything. And it just, you would be at the barber shop. People want to get their hair cut, they just come by. So I want to be in spaces like that. I want men to be in spaces like that. So not only do they have a space to get their hair cut, but they have a space to share what's on their mind. Most
Mm.
people either go to, especially black men, they either go into barbershops or they go into a place of worship.
I love that. I
Yeah.
really love that. I mean, like my first experience of like a barber shop where it wasn't for me, it was a friend of mine who, they took me as Killer Mike's barbershop in Edgewood.
Mm.
And I remember I was like, I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be like 5, 10 minutes, he's gonna get his hair cut. We stayed the whole day. and
Yeah.
it was a DJ up in there. There was like a
Mm,
new business, like these kids opened like their lemonade like business, and so they were promoting their
mm,
business. They put the music on, they did a song for their business, and people are getting their hair cut, and like it was just so much going on. I was like, this is more than just a barber shop.
yeah,
Like I was
no.
just like in awe. I loved it. I didn't want to leave. Like I was just
Yeah,
like, even I left feeling just filled up. And so it's really beautiful to hear, like what you're doing. Like, mashallah, I pray that you continue to thrive and benefit from it as well. Like,
mm,
I want to ask you one more question about, your experience. Do you feel like doing this, that now that it's like a dream and it's coming true and it's unfolding, how is this like affecting you? Like, how is this like, do you feel like you're benefiting from this in the sense of like you're learning something about yourself, or you're learning something that you didn't know before through the experience?
for sure, for sure. I remember saying earlier in the interview or the episode that I'm not exempt from anything. I'm,
Mm,
and I never want people to see me. A
mm-hmm,
lot. I've been circulating a little bit, nothing crazy, but I've
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
been speaking about mental health in couple spaces recently, and I want people to get it twisted. Like just because I'm a therapist doesn't mean I got it all together. I'm still a human being at the end of the day.
That's such a good
So
one.
coming to this barbershop and creating this group, it I see myself in the other brothers.
I love that.
The things that they have difficulty with, I have difficulty with.
Mm,
And sharing these conversations and how we want to be better and what we're learning makes me go home and reflect and second. It makes me to sit back and think twice about the things I do.
I
If
love
I'm
that.
gonna show up and we're all here showing up to get better, I
Mm-hmm,
can't be a fraud and
mm-hmm.
come here and act like because I'm the therapist, I know it all. You gotta do all this. No,
Yeah.
I started. At first, I was well. I shared, but as time went, and I think this happened for the whole group. When we first started going to come in the group, people would just fist bump each other. So we took after the 6 weeks ended, we took like a 2 week break, and
Mm-hmm.
we came back. Everybody's dapping each other up,
Oh, nice.
and I was like, yeah. And if you think
That's,
about the different ways of introducing yourself or greeting someone, a fist
mm.
bump. The way I interpret a fist bump is, all right, I don't know you like that, or my hands might be dirty. I don't want to. I
Yeah.
don't want your hands to be dirty, but it might be. I don't know you like that, but I'm gonna acknowledge you, so I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
a fist bump.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
and the fist bump was closed. Someone might dap you up, and all right, that's cool. But then people embrace you. They dap you up and give you and wrap their arms around you. That's I see you. It's good to see you. Uh, I appreciate you. That's the way. I appreciate being with you in this space right now
I
or
love
seeing you. That's the way I interpret the many levels of introducing your
it.
or not introducing but greeting someone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so many layers, but that's what
Yeah.
makes our human experience so beautiful. And like, I'm just really grateful for everything that you've shared. And like, I would want to say, like, before you give us a tour, is it still possible for you to give us a tour?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, before you do that, I wanted to ask you, is there like one piece of advice or tool or information that you would share with anyone who would come across this? And if you want to center it towards men, like Bismillah, like go ahead. But just like in this day and age we're in, we need all that is good that is available. And so like I would love to hear from you on
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Even with my private practice having it on the side and seeing people online, I
Mhm.
don't see strictly men. The intention was to create a space for men, but I'm not like, oh, you're not a man, you can't come here. Uh,
Yeah.
so what I share and what I do, I hope it's for
Hmm.
benefit. It's a benefit for anyone.
Alhamdulillah.
But to your question, can you get a little bit more specific?
Yeah, okay. So I would say something that's been bothering me and
Mm,
maybe like a lot of other people is just kind of seeing, the negative, unfortunate events that are happening through like, decision makers in the world. and like you feeling almost kind of like helpless, like you're like, "Ah, what's the point, like
Yeah.
I feel like numb, like I feel like, am I even making a difference,
Yeah.
and there have been spiritual perspectives and mental health perspectives or a combination of both, but I would like to hear as much as I can on how to like deal with this topic.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good one because overall, it just what you're highlighting is this lack of control.
Yes.
And I believe that's something we all struggle with. When we don't have
Mm.
control, where there's this uncertain. That's where anxiety comes from. And you mentioned earlier how you're learning about negative emotions. What I like to tell people, there's no such thing as negative and positive emotions.
Mm.
Emotions are information.
Mm.
All right. They're literally based information we're taking in based on our
Mm-hmm.
five senses, and then our brain. S- it goes to our brain, then there's a response in our body, and that's when you have these physiological responses like anger. You might feel your chest uh, getting warm, and then
Mm.
anxiety might your heart might be racing. So the emotion anxiety, it stems from this lack of certainty.
Mm.
There's this unknown. And again,
Yes.
anxiety, all these emotions, they have a function. Anxiety, a lot of times we think about it negatively, but anxiety is the thing that protects you.
Yeah.
Anxiety is the thing that makes sure that you don't go into a dark alley at 2 a.m. in the morning. Right. So it's getting, what I'm learning is, and this is something we talked about in group, as men, we think about emotions as something to be fixed instead of to feel.
Mm.
When we focus on what's in our control in the midst of everything that's outside of our control, we regain the sense of control. So when you're experiencing anxiety, it's acknowledging it. They say when you name the feeling, you tame it. You got to name it to tame it. So
Wow.
what happens is when you name a feeling, that part in our brain, the siren, as well I call it, the amygdala, that's
Mm-hmm.
activated when you experience threat, when the body senses threat. And this part that's activated, and this is like the part of your brain that's based on survival.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not worried about if this is if that the shoe just dropped from the shelf and it's nothing serious. No, your body, you're gonna respond like you're probably gonna freeze. You might throw your hands up like you're getting ready to fight,
Mm.
or you might run, or you might try to appease.
Mm.
So that's your body's natural response to danger, threat. And what happens is you gotta be able to label that. Because when you're labeling it, when you're creating a distance from the feeling, like people say, I'm anxious. No, you're feeling anxious. So once
Yes.
you do that, that amygdala that's activated, it decreases, the intensity of it decreases. And that's when your thinking part comes back out, the
Mm.
rational part. That's when you're like trying to make sense of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing that, you become curious. You get curious with this emotion of anxiety. Okay,
Yeah.
why am I feeling anxious? I'm
All
feeling
right.
anxious because I don't have any control right now. What is this tied to? Was it tied to the time where I didn't feel control when I was a kid? Is it tied to a belief I have, like the world's terrible? So then as you get curious about it, after you start reflecting on, okay, what is the action I can take that's in alignment with the things I value? Right. So the things that you alluded to, what's going on around the world, places being bombed,
Yeah.
uh, kids dying, etc. What you, if you value justice, you speak out against it. Right. The Prophet Muhammad told us, peace and blessings be upon
It's,
him, that's the weakest of faith, right? But that's something you do in your
mm.
control.
Yeah.
That's in your control. And man, God
Mm-hmm.
seems not like enough, but sometimes enough is all you can do.
I really like that. That really, like, thank you so much for that. Because
Mhm.
I was just talking to a friend earlier today about realizing that a lot of my stress has been from like things about like the future, and it's not something I can grasp. but
Mm-hmm.
something like a practice I've been trying to do is like very similar. Is like kind of leading more with like curiosity, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like curiosity has more grace, and
Yeah.
it's just very like spaciousness. Like there's like it almost like if you feel constricted, it's like it now like you feel like there's expansion. So I really that was so
Yeah.
needed. Like thank you so much for sharing on it, and thank you
Of
so much
course. Of
for
course. Yeah.
being on here with us and go ahead. I sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Uh,
you off.
I was just another thing that came to mind as you were speaking, and
Hmm.
what I would want to add is the present moment. What's
Hmm.
happening right now? There's a saying: "Be where your feet are, not where your mind is." Anxiety, when you experience anxiety, is future oriented. So right now, feeling happen based on something that you think might happen. I always tell people it's not about what if, but what is, what's happening right now. So I try to
Oof.
remind myself, try to remind myself, if I find myself ruminating on things, just fixated on things, continue to worry, I'm like, all right, I can either worry about this for a set amount of time, or I can redirect myself to what's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. What if instead of what if, like what is?
Mhm.
And it's just easier questions, because it's like it can
Yeah,
get so clouded with all the like worry and like it's just like you
yeah,
can't hear even like your own self. And the simplifying it is key, I think. And I really like that you shared that. And I'm gonna take that some notes. Like
yeah,
what if instead of what if, like what
right.
is?
And with anything after what if is made up.
It really is.
Anything after what if is made up. You can think, we've done it all the time. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? But
But
it's not
also, like, what
happening.
if is like from the past too? Like, you could say, what if I
Mm,
had, or what if
yeah,
I hadn't? And it's
right.
just like,
And that part, the
it's
past
like,
is gone. So nothing's
yeah,
gonna
like
change about that.
you can't just,
Yeah.
I
Mm,
mean, you can use it to cast forward, like to teach
yeah. You
yourself,
can
but
learn from it, yeah,
yeah,
for
but
sure.
not in the sense of like, if I had, and it's like,
Mm,
yeah, but no, that's what if instead of what if, what is. Thank you for that.
no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So I know it's we're kind of at the time. I wanted to give you space. Like I don't know if
Mhm.
we still have time to see the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this
this.
is the office. I won't even say office. There's a space in the barber shop where the owner Nick does his private. Uh, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Spam callers,
You're
man.
popular today.
No spam likely, spam likely. Really. So he has his own space where he does his individual cuts, and this is kind of something I envision if I went to the barber shop.
Mm.
I don't plan on cutting hair because I feel as though I don't. That's not my calling. That's not my ministry. I don't want to do that. What I've envisioned was being able to be in a barber shop and
Mm.
having a space like this, an enclosed space, almost as an office, and we can just you have the chair right here. This is the
Which I
barber
love the
chair.
color. It's a
Yeah,
vibe.
and the chair's right here. I might have another chair on the opposite end of the room, and we just
Mm.
chop it up. I can conduct therapy. I can conduct chaplaincy sessions here, and then at night or different days, I can have a group. There could be a group. So that's
Yeah,
the goal, Lord willing. So this
inshallah.
is Nick's. Um, let me. This is Nick's space. You got his TV over there. It's a
That's
mirror.
cool.
He does his individual cutting over here,
Mm-hmm.
and then when
Mm-hmm.
you go out into the main area.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
they're
so
different.
cool.
So what we'll do, we start group at
Ooh.
7:30. We start group at 7:30. What we'll
Mm-hmm.
do is we'll move the chairs a little bit closer, and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
bring those chairs over here. We just get in a circle. And then
That's nice.
he dims the lights a little bit. That's him right there. Shout out Nick. He got you see his
That's so
background or his logo, Oak and Iron. This was
wow.
established in 2024. It's a beautiful space.
It is. I can
Yeah,
tell
I
like
wanna
just the energy is like really nice.
yeah,
That's so cool. Wow. I'm so happy to hear that, like more about your experience. I was seeing your
mhm,
posts on it and I was seeing like you sharing on social and like hearing more about it. Um, I definitely like, yeah, yeah, definitely need to
mhm.
hear a part two.
For sure, for
And
sure.
inshallah, but thank you so much for coming on
Of
here. I
course.
just like, I'm super grateful for you. And
Oh,
I just
sure,
want to
for
say one
sure.
more thing before we go off. I said it wrong in the beginning, but I've been trying to create
What,
like,
we gotta. I'm sorry. Uh,
what do you call it?
I want this. Let's introduce Nick, the man that's made it
Yay!
all happen.
What's up?
His shop. Howard says it's a beautiful shop. Oh
How
dang,
are
I got my
you?
AirPods in.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Now I can hear. Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I heard about the good vibes and I can tell like, wow,
It,
it's really awesome what you're doing. Like,
I
seriously.
didn't want to cut.
my Instagram is NWJ Style. My
Okay.
booking link is on there. You already know I'm here in Orange, Town area. Yeah.
Always Mills
Awesome.
now for those who aren't familiar with
Yes.
Always Mills. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there
Awesome.
might be another Always Mills.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry to start off and
Oh
just
no, you're fine. You're
walk
fine.
in
No, so I
with
wasn't expecting,
doing his
but like
flowers.
happy to like meet him, like for sure. Like,
Oh, can you hear me?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think it was kind of like lagging a little bit.
Were you able to hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
I was just saying like I wasn't expecting to meet him, but like we're like I was definitely happy to see him. Like,
Yeah,
mashallah.
yeah. I don't think you heard me, but I was like, oh, he just walked in. I want to give him his flowers because without
Oh,
him, this wouldn't be happening.
I
So,
love
and I don't
that.
want anybody to think I have a shop. I don't got a shop. So,
That's what's up.
but
Thank you so much, Tala,
of
for
course,
everything.
there was something you were
Thank you
saying
for
though. I'm sorry,
Oh
I cut
yeah,
you off
no,
earlier.
I was saying I think I said it incorrectly earlier in my when I first introduced you, but I wanted to say the reason why I was doing this and like I'm so happy that you came on here. I said, what's a sun to do without a sky to sit in? And what's a sky to do without a sun to light it up? So I bring to you today Tala Drammeh to talk about the
Mm,
intellect and heart.
mm,
So yeah, that's what I wanted to say earlier, but
yeah,
I was
no.
just kind of like, ah, I was so
No,
excited
no,
to
no. I
see
like
you.
that.
So
No, I like that. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, the heart's the seed of the intellect. They say the heart is another brain.
hmm.
And then if we think about the Quran,
Yes.
Allah talks about the intellect all the time, right? And then also the heart, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
the heart has the ability to discern, right? And
Yes.
my imam said the senses find it, the intellect defines it, and the heart actualizes it. So all these things are connected.
Okay, I need to talk to your chef.
He
That's
will
fire
say he's
right
not a
there.
sheikh, but yeah.
That's what's up. Thank you so much
Of
again.
course. Thank you for
Like
having me.
thank you, and I can't wait to post
Appreciate it.
this, and definitely look forward to part two, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you for all those who are in the chat,
Yeah.
listening and everything. Appreciate you being here.
Good luck
Thank
with
you.
everything you do. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Take
And
care.
best of luck on the podcast. I still need to
Thank
get you
you.
that guest. And
Yes.
and I gotta go listen to the first episode. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. For
So
sure.
yeah.
Definitely.
So keep on
Okay.
doing the work you're doing.
Thank you. Just make
No
dua for
problem.
me. Pray for
For
me.
sure. Inshallah, Allah continue to make it easy for you.
Ameen. Thank
Assalamu
you.
alaikum.
Walaikum
Bye.
assalam. Bye. Take care.
Take care.